Happy Four Noble Truths Day, everyone. Today, Rinpoche started the chapter on the distinction between Madhyamika Svatantrika and Madhyamika Prasangika, showing that the Madhyamika Prasangika asserts no lack of true establishment whatsoever, no intrinsic existence whatsoever. The Madhyamika autonomy school asserts that there is conventional intrinsic existence.
Lamrim was the Chibachungun land, Dingla, Chibachimbi Sonje, that Chibachungun land, John to the Lende, Dingla, Habason, and Taban, Chibachimbi land, Shanjuk sent the Shindul of Suba, what to look all then, Sanji, what to say about it.
Welcome to the Chenrezig Tibetan Buddhist Center. Once again, Rinpoche will be explaining Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment, and specifically we are getting towards the end of the text, page 247 at the top, where it begins with moreover. So the explanation that we're receiving is the explanation of the summary of all of Lord Buddha's teachings. Lord Buddha's teachings can be summarized into three categories, which are called the teachings shared in common with which are called the teachings for beings of three capacities. The first set of teachings, the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity, are for beings who wish to achieve a higher realm rebirth, and he or she engages in going for refuge to the three jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and engages in ethical behavior that abandons the 10 non-virtuous activities. In dependence upon these practices, he or she achieves higher realm rebirth, and these are the practices for beings of small capacity. The next category is for beings who wish to achieve nirvana, or an individual liberation. These are called the practices of the three highest higher trainings. The practitioner engages in a union of ethics, concentration, and wisdom in the highest form, and they're called the highest higher training in ethics, concentration, and wisdom, and in dependence upon these practices achieves nirvana. The last category is for beings who wish to achieve Buddhahood, called the teachings for beings of great capacity. This practitioner couples bodhicitta, the mind that aspires to enlightenment, with all of the already mentioned practices, and then from that mind that aspires to enlightenment engages in the six perfections. And in dependence upon that, he or she becomes a Buddha. So this is what this text explains, the teachings for beings of three capacities, which encompass all of Lord Buddha's teachings.
Yeah, Junde Rajin ji Rwanda bala ju tene sam mate ba debo che tabashene ka bi jun la manju ba ya Rajin me ban de bi jusen do shene pomba yin je ranlo me je shene pomba me de yundele chöji jidar shena kanshir dada nisha yana jumadang da tishir dala chundo menjuro jiden bayi ngobu na jang yu kanki tana kan rangi teni jeba sheba nyi jeba sheba ni himba tela naba jeba juji rangi tana ngobu nam lobar kun tabe jeba niji jumatar majibi rangi inshin rangi me jang rari ji maybe trashi la soba tar naba tubi yudo joba telane sando meba ni de tishir dala deki shebi Junji Go Yuba Ma Yin Xin Jiden Bi Ngopo Mataba Chuba Naji Jun Yinbe De Tangjin Rubo Xie Yen Yang La Junjubi Jusen Do Ransen Kelamba Gujin Rala Junde Mebi Jusen Do Juma Tabun Deba Sombe Tadar Shene Omi Lu Jundan Jawa Ju Sheba Jishi Shir Nadunji Sonro Tang Omi Tenju Nane Den Dadar Yinla Dada Minu Dadam De Medo Dadan De Yodo Shi Tayiba Shi Sombe Tala Zumbabo Dadaki Jeba Yimbala Mesiji Longzhang Ne Ru Kalagu Dada Mayina Dada Dodo Kelano Shi Mazumbe Jun Dadaki Kausu Dadaki Tuandambi Tuanabara Cheba Na Then Zumbabo Ti Losan Ti Jeba
Shebao.
Ti Jebao Then Dadar Mino Shi Nabar Jimeniba Yu Shiro Kede De Jebatan Kelan Shebatan Tanjawa Shebi Chi Chebawa Gunam Mando Sunde Sundule Tanya Ken Malamba Naja Cheba Mejedo Shedan Reba Tujubi Reba Le Jan Mabu Shunwa Shibala Tedar Goba Tabatar Tejin Tamba Naji Jan Juma Shiji Goba Ye Shedan Jedan Kanda Tene Mabu Nam Chu Dawa Tabu Ne Yanda Mayin Lumi Bar Deba Dada Temuchu Jedan Jiden Le Debi Toba Le Jan Kanda Jule Shunwa Na Temepa Ne Yuemepe Zunye Nidan Tombaro Sewa Jishir Mendu Jedan Tsoja Meba Temebe Tsoa Nine Da Meba Tsoa Bayan Tsoa Teyan Rajin Je Yoba Meba Chuji Je Jedan Sheba Bodan Le Nijan Tanyen Tone Chuji Ten Pensu Teba Nidu Juro Droba Chuji Jeba La Shedan Rishi Shebe Jule Jan Drebun Juan Marila Maji Lemi Malantan Drayu Chewa Chuni Jedan Tenjin Drebun Juan Kan Deshi Chuni Tomba Je Je Sonso Junde Le Jan Keba Dagi Shunde Ne Junme Jin Penyan Tang Jeba Nyando Sante Dunmazawa Kelanwa Shao Shedan Ti Shir Tenjin Deba Jungwa Ni Jen Deba Tang Kelanwa Tar Tenne Taba Kelanwa Shir Ko Jagi Shula Tanyen Cheba Tawa Manjula Paru Jan Deni Kelamba, Yubayino, she, never Kelango, Sonshin, Tendawa Jen, Mongo, Yan de Jundele, Tanjawa Jibo, de Jesu June, Terribe, Ruby Sherisheba, Teni Lene, Jumi, Teni Jumi, Jeda Letan Kalashi, Nika Lejamain, Jumeban Jishu, Jumeban Kalayu, Chi Tanjawa, Geshe Lharampa, Tetan Rawa, Sompe Na, Gomoludu Dawatrabe, Lula, Rajin Dedan, Kelan Dan, Tanjajin, Yubayin, Lujeba Gaban, Dene, Tanya do Rangi Teniji, Yujan, Rangi Ransen, Rebe, Jesu Tanya do, Goba Nawa, Malebane, Hansheba, Shesin La, Omabe, Shigula, Ngobomawala, Jendun Jebaki, Drube, Niki Lula, Drube, Tuzumbi, Ta, Ruben Dawatabi Lozo, Durban Riba Mainde, Dandawan Dela, Cizene, Meiji, Shi, Gabanzebi Shedan. Then Duna, Dela, Mabi Toshuji Taji, Tanya Majudo Chujan, Ranjuji Ta Yimba, Dudu Mebi Sher, Dadan Tadon Yang, Cheba Ju, Dadan Le Majo, Luniba Gabane, Tanju Ranjubi, Lu Sun Shone, Rangilu Jaba Ni Juna, Nika Dubanju, Sejuba Shao, Tela Cise Le Mondo Sonjan, Sima Yunjine, the two na Tamba Yembe, Tela Nile, Ranju Sun Shong Tan, Ralu La Motombi Chulo, Tamula Ni.
Rinpoche, Chishinange the Injike, Gangisina the Jipa, the Leyu Tsar, the Nipa Rangi Lu Shapa Ne, the Injike Leyu Sarpa Gutsogudu, the Tanjur Dang the Ranju Chapagare, the Leyu Gutsogudu, the Tambo the Tsar Injike, the Ngatsu the Lu. Okay, so we begin with moreover. Moreover, while analysis of whether a cause produces an effect with or without contact refutes those who accept intrinsic existence, Chandrakirti gives our assertion of the absence of intrinsic existence as the reason why this fault does not apply to us. This is how he avoids that fallacy. He does not avoid it by saying that we have no system of our own, for the explanation of the Middle Way commentary states, how do we explain production? It is because both cause and effect are like illusions that this is not a fault for us. The things of the world exist. That analysis is applicable to those who maintain that cause and effect respectively are intrinsically characterized as the producer and produced thing. But what about someone who maintains that since things are generated by false imputations, they are like illusions, and that is that they're not intrinsic nature. Illusions in that it is not their intrinsic nature to be produced. What about someone who holds that things lack intrinsic nature but are objects of mental construction, like the falling hair that may appear to a person with eye disease. That person has no conception of intrinsic production. Therefore, there is no opportunity to fault us in the way we just explained. Also, since the things of the world do exist when left unanalyzed, everything is established. He gives the acceptance of intrinsic character as the reason why the fault applies to the other position, and the belief that things are like illusions as the reason why they do not have this fault. Understanding this, you should realize how to present the Madhyamaka system as being free from fault. In general, there are innumerable instances of definitive scriptures and Madhyamaka treatises that make our statements such as, this is the way and not this way, or such things exist and such things do not. Hence, why should it be necessary to cite special scriptural passages to prove that these statements represent the assertions of their authors? If it were necessary, then when explaining the meaning of passages were expressions like, I accept such and I believe such, and it would be impossible to distinguish whether or not something represents the system and belief of a certain author. But if you insist upon actual instances of expressions like, I believe, I accept, I posit, these are abundant. Nagarjuna's refutation of objection states, apart from asserting conventions, we offer no explanations. And also Nagarjuna's 60 stanzas of reasoning states, a thing that arose and was destroyed is labeled as having ceased. Likewise, excellent beings accept cessation. That is like an illusion. Everything that arises dependently, like a reflection of the moon in water, is neither real nor unreal. Those who accept this are not seduced by dogmatic views, as Nagarjuna's praise of the Transcendent One states. What arises from causes cannot exist without them, and so is like a mere reflection. How can you not accept something so obvious? And again, from the same text, since it does not exist without what is felt, feeling itself is selfless. You, Buddha, also accept that feeling does not exist intrinsically. And also, you have taught action and agent in a conventional way. You accept that they exist in mutual dependence. And also, an effect cannot arise from a cause that has been destroyed, nor from a cause that has not been destroyed. You assert that effects are produced as in a dream. And also, you hold that whatever arises dependently is empty. Chandrakirti's explanation of the Middle Way commentary also states, experts are of the opinion that this position has no flaw and is highly beneficial. You should accept it without hesitation. And also, consequently, because we accept that things are dependently imputed, just as we accept dependent arisings, the mere conditional nature of things, our position does not face the absurdity of annihilating all conventions. Others should also accept the same. These passages state that it is definitely necessary to accept a variety of positions, and there are many more like them. Again, the explanation of the Middle Way commentary explains 4 theses. After stating that those 4 theses, we explain how to establish them through reasoning. This does not arise from itself, so how could it arise from something else? Nor does it arise from both itself and something else. How could it arise without a cause? As the clear words also makes similar statements, the system of Nagarjuna, the protector in Chandrakirti, does have its own beliefs, assertions, and theses, refuting the fourth misinterpretation. This 4th system apparently accepts that intrinsic character exists conventionally, but refutes the conventional existence of intrinsic character that withstands rational analysis. We have already explained that this is wrong. It also maintains that in the system of the Master Chandrakirti, when Madhyamakas use other-centered arguments to prove something to essentialist proponents, they use reasons to meet the 3 criteria that are established for both systems. This is correct because the clear word specifically refutes this view. 2, if you hold such a view, even if you do not call that a reason based on real fact, it is inevitably an autonomous reason. I have yet to explain these points, so this is all I will say at this point. I got to get better glasses. Rinpoche, ngatsu karma ju dene demaji. Tanda demaji, that's more.
Okay.
Chan salangari be. That's more. Okay. Nipa rangi lu shapa.
Nipa rangi lo jaba.
Yep. Tenjor. Chira.
Lo
The
jaba gaba lo son.
Le Jipatsar. The Nipa. Rangi Lu.
Nipa rangi lo jaba ne.
Tuche.
Tanju yu ranju bi lo sun shun ne rangi lo jaba. Ni jue na. Ni ka to ban ju yu. Te jue ba sha wo. De la si se le ma do son jang. Si ma yu ji ne. De ne tu na tuen ba yin be. Tuen ba yin be. Te la ni le. Te la ni. Ranju sun shun wa. Ranju sun shun wa. Ngwa ta. Te rang la mo so ba chu lo. Mo so ba chu lo. Te tong ba la ni. Ye chu jin. Ye chu jin. Chu jin. Ye chu jin ma ru bi. Ye chu jin ma ru bi. Shu ji. Jun ten ba tang. Jun te. Ten si jang. Ma ru ba ten ba wo. Tong ba la ni. De ba jo ba ga ba wo. Tong ba ne. Kan der. Si se le sung ba. Si se le sung ba na jen na ne. Shin do. Do ga wa. Na yu. Si se ji. Si zhang de xie na. Che ge do. Je de. De dar da. Da ma da je sha wa. Sha wa la. Chu na chu jen. Ni. Shi ni sung wa yin je. Che ba na ma yin de. Che ba zen na ne. Ne je su ba ba tang. Je su ba ba sha yu. Ta ni. Me ban ju yu shi ro. De da ke de. Ke de. Zhong wa Chenmo. Je le. Chu bi. Dan zen na ne. Paru ba la ma ru la. Ke de. Na ki. Yuen ten zen na ne. Te rang yin la. Rang yin sang je ba la. Ma ru ba yin no. Te yin do. Shira ba. Da ma da ba. Tang jia wa. Na. She bi. Dan zen na. Te yin la ma ru bo. Yuen de. Nga ba si yu. Si wa la sha yu. Zen na ne. Te ne. Te rang la ma ru ba. Yin no. Te yin do. Jiri ba. Nji ba ang. Ke de. Ju dang je ba. Yin na ne. Te sang je ba rang la. Ma ru ba yin la. Yuen de. Ju me ba yin na ne. Te paru ba la. Ma ru ba yin no. Ti shir. Che dar. Der. Chu dang. Chu jin. Shi dang zin ba. Te yin do. De yang. Che bar du yu. Chu jin. Zang shi zin ba. Jo ro. She na. She ba wu. De yi duen ne. Sang je bi shi ra ba la. Da ma da ba tang. Tang jia wa na. Zhong wan ju ju ji da. Chu jin do zung na. Ne. Shi ra ba la. Mu ru la. Na ki yun ten ji. Da chu jin do zung na. Zung wa shi na rang lu la. Mu ru bo. Te jin do. Shi ra bi jang. Se wa she ba la. Da ma da ba tang cha na. She bi da shi chu jin do. Zung na. Se wa she ba la. Mu ru la. Ha yu jen ji. Se wa she ba. She bi da chu jin do zung na. Zung na rang lu la mu ru bo. Te na su yu de ba. Tumo ma yin ba. Tang je zong do mo rong de. Chu jen ne. Go. Nye ge che ba ji. Chu je yin be. Nye ge tuen na do. Chu ba shi gu bi shi ro. Che tar. Chu jen tuen na do. Chu ba gu ba. Te jin do. Chu ma ta ba. Che ba do shi. She ba shi tang ji. Nye ge du gu de. Te yang. Per kaan gu ba la. Tuen na wa. Chu ba shi. Dru bi. Nga do. Gu ba yin no. Pe te jin do. Oma be mi la su ba tang. Na ki che che tang. Zoda la su ba shi. Geshe Dalai Jawa Member Jen de la Robatan Jen le Jawa Member Rande Jen le Jawa Member Rande Ngopo Mawala Robana Denbi Mila Soba Che Chujen Duzuna Rala Mandula Denbi Mila Soba Chujen Duzuna Parubala Marube Cheba Tendra wa Tote Medan Zutan Sanshi Chujen Du Jode Umabadan Ngaburu Mawa Niji Dale Jawa Yumela Soba Chebara Je Chu Jobi Jiyinbe Nika Tunado Chugubi Nika Tunado Chugubi Shir Tatato Samba Wu Tunado Chubi Tunyang Shigula Tsama Mandawa Shiki Chuba Tsama Tandawa Shiki Hangula Chuba Wu Lo Niba Tegaba La Ni Tuntan Mateba Tan Pugaba Mateba Wu Tambana Sisele Tene Tara Mai De Kangi Tse De Jawa Kaba Chuba Shayi Chusu Deba Ti Tse Tekwana Ti Ten Chujen Shinji Lutan Dagi Ngobo Nyeba Ne Nyabanju De Rani Je Kilamba Nido Shinji Lutan Shinji Maluba Da Ne Tateba Yino Ti Shir Kangi Tse Rari Jenji Tashila Suba Tar Shinji Lu Ngobo Yeba Mayimba Yeba Nido Zimba Ti Tse Ti Yeba Choba Tun Chatan Yang Niba Kalanjoro Ti Tse Rari Jen Mayimbe Tashila Suba Tar Shinji Maluba Yang Taba Mayimbe Ne Dro Manduba Ti Tse Na Kangi Na Tene Kunzu Juwa Yimbe Kunzu Juwa Yeba Mayimba Chubi Tun Chatan Yang Miba Kala Yu Teni Jishir Luben Jishinga Ne Jikide Ngosung La Sube Tun Gaji Mina Ne Druban Duba Shana Te Meje Ngala Lenga Me Je Sonso Kanshir Tata Shinji Luba Dan Shinji Maluba Tateba Ti Shir Shinji Maluba Naga Na Shinji Luba Mayimbi Shina Kanji Chujen Do Ju Ne Mi Kundu Tsiji Jun Duba Mebe Dela Lema Ino Sheba Wu Dene Zu
Hollow on YouTube Music.
Jishi Tale Jawa Medu Yebi Shir Jendo Seyu Momba Jeno
That's good, Rinpoche.
Ya
That's good.
Ya Ba Yinje Oma Tanju Nampen Junje Chenyebi Tuangaji Toba Jepa Jebi Yola To Ranju Magui Jang Jeba Reji Jago Te Juntan Jana Shena Ne Kangi Tse Sheba Kilamba Nido Shebi Tuane Rujayi Chujin Ne Chujiten Chujin Minkan Zola Soba Ne Te Kona Nyaba Jute Maruba Leden Je Tende Rani Je Kilamba Yino Chujin De Chindawa Nyana Maribe Lebe Shinji Lutanji Dagi Ngobanyeba De Mila Subi Tanyebe Shebatan Trubi, Tumino, Kelan Lune, Tunaba Joa Gaba, De Chujin Tada. Chujin Tada, Rujayi Chuzu, Temba Di Tsede, Di Shede, Tekona Truna, Tekona Truna, Tela Temba, Gay Sher, Una, Tatar Kelam, Kelanlu, De Chetan Jana, Tekona Maru Jin, Tekona Nijitun, Maimba, Zula Suba, Tada Matu Shebe, Nyebi Dundo, Maroyu, Ne Yujin Dumba, Tanyeb, Shebe, Nyeba Yimbe, Tada Maribi, Sebi, Chuba Yino, Tena, Matu, Nyebi, Trishila Manala, Trishila Nayudun, Matu Shebala, Nyeba Maide, Matu Shebe, Nyeba Maide, Shinji Lu, Trishi Tang, Shinji Maluba, Matu Sheba Ni, Rangi, Yujin, Pentun Bombi Gune, Yula, Yuba, Tateba, Yimbi Shero Sheba, Shinji Lu Tang, Shinji Maluba Tane, Tateba, Nido She, Sumbi Shere, Teni Cheba Na, Kangi Te Sheba Ne, Meba Kala Yu Jebi Baro, Tela, Shinji Lu Jeba Ne, Mila Subi Sheba, Tanyeba Maribe, Leba Nanzo, Tada Ne, Yoba Mahimba, Yoba Nido, Yoba Nido Nzimba, Sheba Ne, Zoda Sula, Rangi Ngoni Ji Drubi Tseni Me Jindo, Onbi Shebe, Yoba Zonwa De, Tome Ji Shebe, Zona Ne, Nawa Tangla, Shagwebe, Rangi Tseni Do, Zosu Nawa Wu, Ti Na Yoba Jubi, Chatanyang, Meba Kalanjoro, Sheba Ne, Tata Ranten, Mejindo Nayu Shena Sheba Tata Ki Rangi Tseni Che, Yoba, Chamayang, Truba Kalanjoro Shebi Tuno, Rangi Tseni Che, Trubi Tun, Mejindo Nayu, Pene, Trashi La Soba Tara Sheba Wu, Dada Ki, Zoda Su Nayu, Wanshe Ne Truba Yimbe, Tata Tanji Rangi Tseni Rushido, Maron Sonso, Matu Shebe Zuzu, Gayang, Manzimba Yino, Tamba Ne, Kangi Tse, Rari Jen, Mayimbe, She Soso, Tela Shinji Luba Ne, Matu Sheba Wu, Tela Tekonani Ngonsonto, Deba Yueje, Jen La Mento, Te Yam Taba, Mayimba, Drumunduba, Tekonani, Tanto Moron Zodala Soba, Drumunduba, Te, Yemba Manzimba Wu, Pena, Rari Dan Trayi, Misheji, Drashin Taba Nawa, Mayimba Taro, Kundu Dunji, Zodala Soba, Zimbi, Tano, Mayimba, Yoba Mayimba, Rangi Tenji, Maruba Yino, Tada Te, Mazibi, Shero Sheba Wu, Kalejuna.
Did Zipi Shiro Shipi Duno? Okay. Was not mistaken. Do not see conventional. Did Demazipi? Did go Trupi? About the objects of this object, reality, and their object. Okay. Our interpretation of the Svatantrika Prasangika distinction. So these are the two different types of Madhyamaka system. So the middle way school has the middle way consequence, which is Madhyamika Prasangika. And then there is the middle way autonomy, which is Madhyamika Svatantrika. So the middle way autonomy, the Svatantrika that's written here in the heading, has two divisions, whereas Prasangika only has one. So just as an aside. Setting forth our own position. Explaining how Prasangika set forth their own system via refutation of Svatantrika brings about an understanding of both systems. So this is how I will proceed. Chandrakirti's clear words has a great deal to say on this matter, but I am wary of extensive verbiage. So I will teach only the main points here. There are two divisions. The actual refutation of autonomous argument, why the faults we find in autonomous arguments do not apply to us. The actual refutation of autonomous argument. The first of these has two divisions, demonstrating a fault that pertains to the position, namely that the basis or subject of an autonomous syllogism is not established, demonstrating that because of that fault, the reason is also not established. The subject of an autonomous syllogism is not established by two parts, stating what Baba Vega believes and refuting it. Baba Vega, as a translator's note, wrote Blaze of Reasoning, and he's one of the masters we hear quoted quite a bit, and he's, I think, on the wall. Baba Vega Kabiore. One of these, you'd have to find him, but he's one of the Indian pandits that we see here on the wall. The passage, what Baba Vega believes. The passage from Chandrakirti's clear words on these points appear to be exceedingly difficult to understand, so let me explain by citing and explaining a passage from the clear words. It says, how, in the thesis, sound is impermanent, both the subject and the predicate are construed only in a general sense, not with specific qualifications. If they were taken under specific qualifications, the convention's inference and what is inferred would cease to exist. For example, if the subject were construed as sound that evolves from the four great elements, it would not be established by the other party in the debate, the Vaisikas, and if it were, maybe that's Vabhashika, I'm not sure, and if it were taken as a quality of space, the subject would not be established for us, the Buddhists. Likewise, when Vaisikas advance the thesis, sound is impermanent, to Samkhya opponents, Samkhya's non-Buddhist school. If sound is construed as produced sound, then it would not be established from the Samkhyas. On the other hand, if sound is construed as something that becomes manifest, then it would not be established for the Vaibhashikas, Vaisasikas themselves. Likewise, however it is placed in an argument, destruction, when qualified as something that requires some other cause than production itself, is established for us Buddhists, whereas qualified as something that is causeless is not established for the other party. The Vasikas, therefore, just as the Vasikas, therefore, just as the subject and predicate are taken only in a general sense in the above cases, likewise in the present case it is the mere subject without particular qualification that is to be understood. This is what Baba Vega says. Just give me one moment. I want to see something here. 696. Anyway, we'll look it up another time. This means that when the Buddhists advance the thesis, sound is impermanent to the Vaisasikas, if sound evolves from the element, it is taken as the subject. It will not be established for the Vasikas. If sound has a quality of space is taken as the subject, it will not be established for us. Likewise, when Vasikas themselves advance the thesis, sound is impermanent to those Samkhya's who are manifestationists. If sound is something produced. So again, just as a translator's note, this is all in assuming that the reader completely understands the tenet systems. So without a complete understanding of the tenet systems, this doesn't make any sense because it's talking about a lot of intricate things within the tenet systems. And the tenet systems not only deal with the Buddhist tenets, but there's an entire section on non-Buddhist tenets where you study all of the non-Buddhist views that were in that ancient Indian time. And so when they're referring to these other schools, the reader has already studied those schools because as a Buddhist, you study the non-Buddhist tradition in order to refute it, in order to know you're not following that. So, anyway, where are we? Therefore, it is Vasikas, if sound as a quality of space is taken as the subject, it will not be established for us. Likewise, when Vasikas themselves advance the thesis, sound is impermanent to those Samkhya's who are manifestationists. If sound as something produced were taken as a subject, it would not be established for the manifestationists. If sound is something that previously exists and comes to be manifested through certain conditions were taken as the subject, it would not be established for Vaisasika proponents. Therefore, if it is impossible to use as a subject something that is incompatible with one's own individual belief system, for given that the subject is the basis that both parties analyze in order to see whether a specific quality is present, it has to be something established as appearing common to both. Just as they must establish a commonly appearing subject, so too both sides must establish the predicate impermanent only in a general sense, without particular qualifications. Also, they must commonly establish any example that they cite, and this must take place before they prove the probundum. The situation is similar when we Madhyamikas prove to non-Buddhists the non-existence of something that is produced from itself, whether it is an internal sensory source, such as a visual faculty, or an external sensory source, such as a form. And when we prove to Buddhist essentialists that there is no production from other, if we were to use a real eye, for instance, as the subject, it would not be established for us. But if we used an unreal eye as the subject, it would not be established for the other party. Hence, giving up such specificity, we must use the mere eye or mere form as the subject. Why? Because it must be established as commonly appearing to both parties, inasmuch as it is the basis that both Madhyamikas and essentialists analyze in order to see whether there is a specific quality such as being produced from itself. This is what Bhavavega thinks. To establish as appearing in common means that the proponent and the opponent use the same kind of valid cognition to establish it. Refuting that, this has two parts, showing that the meaning is incorrect and showing that the example cited is not appropriate. Chandrakirti's clear words states, this is not like that, and instead as follows, in as far as one accepts the refutation of production as the probundum in this demonstration that I, etc., are not ultimately produced, the subject, the basis of that probundum, and something found to have its own existence by an accurate consciousness, breaks down in reality, and therefore it will be argued there would be no commonly appearing subject. He, Bhavavega, himself must accept that this is so. Inaccurate and accurate consciousnesses are different. Therefore, when an inaccurate consciousness takes what is non-existent as existent, as in the case of someone with eye disease seeing falling hair, it does not perceive in the slightest degree an object that exists. When an accurate consciousness does not reify what is unreal, as in the case of someone without eye disease looking for imaginary falling hair, it does not perceive even to the slightest degree objects that are non-existent as far as they are merely conventional. That is why the Master Nagarjuna himself states in his refutation of objections, if sensory perception and so forth could actually perceive something, then there would be something to prove or to refute. But as they do not, I cannot be faulted. Since inaccurate and accurate consciousnesses are different in this way, inaccurate consciousnesses cannot exist when accurate consciousness is present. So how could the conventional I, as the subject of a syllogism, exist for an accurate consciousness? Therefore, since there is for Baba Vega no avoiding the fallacies of a non-existent position and a non-existent reason, the response he has given is no answer at all. I will explain this passage based on the following syllogism, since using this example makes it easier to understand. The subject, visible form, predicate, is not produced from itself, reason, because it exists. Example, like the pot that is right in front of you. So this is called Chuchen Selwa Dak. Subject, predicate, reason. So this is a syllogism. So when you create a syllogism, you have first the subject. So you say the subject, visible form, is not produced from itself because it exists. So that's a full syllogism. And then you would get an example. So they would sometimes in the debate say, show an example. Like just to say, okay, so you're saying that? Give me an example of what you're talking about. And then they would say, like the pot that is right in front of you. The pot that is right in front of you is a visible form. It's not produced from itself because it exists. And then the person would say, oh, so that which exists is not produced from itself? And you would say, yes. And that ends the argument. If the person accepts that which exists is not produced from itself, etc. So then you have to take it further if the person doesn't already posit that view that that which exists is necessarily not produced from itself. The passages of the clear words that reply to Baba Vega show that the subject is not established as a... So just as a note, that's how you learn this stuff that we're reading, all these words and everything. You learn it like this. The subject this is that, and that's how slowly you learn each of these schools in order to understand what this reading is about. It's broken down much more simply, and then you can, because you know the vocabulary that this is all using, it doesn't become an obstacle. Like these words are large words, so the obstacle becomes like, what are they talking about? But when you know the formulas and know what this is specifically talking about, then it becomes actually quite easy to understand this. It really isn't as intricate as it seems. It's just when we're missing part of the information that has to be understood in order to read it properly, it seems daunting, but it's really not that difficult. If you spend some time with the tenet systems, a good amount of time, a year, I mean, like not 10 minutes, but you really could understand this section without having to be a super genius, for real. It's just new words, and it's referring to information we don't have. So that's all. The passages of the clear words that reply to Baba Vega show, and unfortunately, a lot of the people who do understand it are such like scholars and have realized the drawbacks of our language in terms of it being limited as far as our lexicon with Buddhism. So they've chosen to write it in such like a bombastic fashion, like the form of bombastic, which is like using really difficult words to express something that may not be that difficult of a point. But they have to, because our lexicon is so missing. Most of the people that could even begin to understand these tenets are such geniuses that they write in this way. But it really isn't, the material isn't as difficult as it's reading. I promise that. The passages of the clear words that reply to Baba Vega show that the subject is not established as appearing in common to the two parties in this debate. How do they show this? Here in the section, the clear word states that those to whom it demonstrates how one cannot establish a subject in common with an opponent are those who refute production from self. That is the Svatantrikas. But in general, the opponents of the clear words are both A, the essentialists who accept that things ultimately have intrinsic nature, and Svatantrikas who refute that but accept that things conventionally have intrinsic character or intrinsic nature. Svatantrika Madhyamikas are called non-essentialists. However, so as to simplify the terminology in this discussion, opponents of intrinsic existence will refer to Prasangikas, and advocates of intrinsic existence will refer to both the essentialists and the Svatantrikas. So they're called, Svatantrikas can be called non-essentialists, but they have an essentialist kind of view because conventionally, essentialists generally believe that ultimately things have an intrinsicness. But this non-essentialists believe that conventionally there is this intrinsic existence. So they still have some kind of essentialism, a kind of essentialist view that's more subtle than the essentialist. It's a little opposing or different than the essentialist. 699. Let me just make sure we stop where Rinpoche stopped. 699. He read to there. Okay, just a little more. The Svatantrikas who refute but accept that things conventionally have intrinsic character or intrinsic nature. Svatantrika Madhyamikas are called non-essentialists. However, okay, so I read that. According to the advocates of intrinsic existence, visible form, the stated subject of the syllogism, must be established by the valid perceptual cognition of the visual consciousness that perceive it. Moreover, if this consciousnesses did not establish visible form in a non-mistaken way, then they could not be perceptions that establish their objects. Hence, they must be non-mistaken. Do non-conceptual perceptions establish their objects in a non-mistaken way? In non-prasangika systems, an object's existence by way of its intrinsic character appears to any consciousness that is non-mistaken with respect to that object. Moreover, the object must exist just as it appears to that consciousness. As this is the case, we Prasangikas say that the kind of valid cognition that establishes the subject for the essential opponent will not work for a Madhyamaka proponent. Why? Since no phenomena can even conventionally have a nature that is established by way of its intrinsic character, there is no valid cognition that establishes such a thing. It is with this in mind that the master Chandrakirti refutes the notion of autonomous syllogism. This also explains how to refute the need for an autonomous syllogism as part of process of initially instilling in others the view that knows that things lack intrinsic nature. I leave aside for the time being the analysis of whether Prasangikas need to use autonomous syllogisms among themselves as part of the process of developing inferential knowledge of certain objects amongst the diverse conventional objects. Now, let me explain this by tying my analysis to Chandrakirti's text. The meaning of the passage, insofar as one accepts the refutation of production, himself must accept that this is so, is as so follows. The basis of the probandham. Subjects such as the eye or form breaks down, that is, not established in reality. This is something that Bhavavega himself accepts. What are those subjects, eye and form, like? Something found to have its own existence by inaccurate consciousnesses. Affected by ignorance, this means that conventional consciousnesses, such as the visual consciousness, establish these objects. How is it that Bhavavega himself must accept this? He must accept it insofar as, because the refutation of ultimate production as the predicate of the probandham is based upon those subjects, if they did exist in reality, it would contradict the relationship between subject and predicate. Granted that he accepts things in this way, what does that entail? Those subjects, form, etc., that neither exist in reality nor are reality itself, cannot be considered objects found by non-mistaken consciousnesses. Hence they are found by conventional consciousnesses, or subjects that apprehend false objects, and thus those consciousnesses are mistaken, that is, affected by ignorance. Therefore, objects found by non-mistaken consciousnesses do not appear to mistaken consciousness, and objects that appear to mistaken consciousnesses are not found by non-mistaken consciousnesses. This is because the inaccurate mistaken consciousness and the accurate non-mistaken consciousnesses are different, which is to say that each engages object by excluding the object of the other. This is the meaning of Chandrakirti's statement that inaccurate and accurate consciousnesses are different. The explanation of that occurs in the passage. Therefore, when an inaccurate or non-existent insofar as they are merely conventional, There, inaccurate refers to a conventional consciousness that is affected by ignorance, such as visual consciousness, that such consciousnesses take what is non-existent as existent, refers to the fact that while form, sound, etc. have no essential or intrinsic character, the sensory consciousness apprehend them as having such a character. The way that non-conceptual consciousnesses apprehend their objects is in terms of mere appearance, and that is why form and such appear to sensory consciousnesses to exist by way of their intrinsic character. The words "it does not perceive even the slightest degree an object that exists" mean that because intrinsic character appears despite its non-existence, there is no way for those consciousnesses to establish even the slightest object that exists by way of its intrinsic character. The falling hair is an example of an object that does not exist by way of intrinsic character, yet appears as though it did. These sentences mean that the sensory consciousnesses to which things such as form and sound appear are mistaken, and therefore not suited to attest to an object that an object exists by virtue of its intrinsic character. The passage that begins, "When an accurate consciousness indicates that non-mistaken consciousness do not at all apprehend form, sound, and such," the word "accurate" refers to non-mistaken consciousness. Noble beings who perceive reality possess such consciousness, and no one else. That non-mistaken consciousness does not reify what is unreal. This means that it does not reify or take as existing such things as form and sound, which cannot be final reality. For example, it is like the fact that visual consciousness of someone without eye disease does not see an image of falling hair. In that same sentence, the phrase "insofar as they are merely conventional" refers to false objects like form and such. Sound, non-existent, means not existing by way of intrinsic character. Such conventional objects are not established even in part by non-mistaken consciousness, that is, by consciousness that have final reality as their object. This is because non-mistaken consciousness do not see such conventional objects. Not see such conventional objects. On those points, Chandrakirti cites a proof text by Nagarjuna the Protector of sensory perception and so forth. This supporting citation states that direct, inferential, scriptural, and analytical valid cognition, sensory perceptions, and so forth do not at all establish an object that exists by way of its intrinsic character. The sentence that begins, "Since inaccurate and accurate," summarizes the point Chandrakirti has already explained. This shows the Gyalde Sheso. These two contradict, since the opponent proved the text of the perception support. And the sentence begins, Chandrakirti's already, the sentence, "So how could the conventional I as the subject of a syllogism exist," is not claiming that subjects such as conventional I are non-existent. Instead, as explained above, it means that a form that exists by way of its intrinsic I read too far. Character, or is established by non-mistaken perception, cannot be the subject of the syllogism even conventionally. I just read a paragraph too far. Dene the dembaji that's it. The dembaji don negare the dungyal demba. Less so.
Ta oma be chen de so ta ruta ma ju be kan kan she. Rang ge sa ju ta la ju tu na de men chaba she ji ba de oma be chen. Oma bala e na raju ba ta ju ni.
That's Gurum che. Okay. Okay, let's go. Seni.
Chuta ma ji bu kan kan she. Rang ge sa ju chuta la ju tu na de men chaba she ji ba. Oma be chen.
Okay, so the definition of, I'm just trying to see if it is here. Adimika Uma. Okay, so it is among the four tenet systems that propounds the middle. So that's the definition of Madhyamaka, is among the four tenet systems, a tenet that is among the four that propounds the middle view. Refers to, so that it presents the middle view. just want to make sure there's... And if we look at, then Rinpoche said, if we look at the Madhyamaka, which is called the middle way school, parentheses, it can be divided into two categories: the middle way consequence school and the middle way autonomy school. So those are the two divisions. Ewa ni Lobsang Rinpoche. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Dikson. Ranju de Lason.
Yeah.
Then the tearing Dembaji Duchen.
Well, that then some
The Karma Ju, that's
Sanjay what the Dembaji some Shira Panchaboris.
yeah, the Yabudu. Then the Chukor Tambo, the Sum, the Gare, the Sum,
Denji Chuku,
Tenji Chuko,
Tenji maybe Chuku, then the Gare, Son Yoderwa. Denji Chuku, that
Tambo,
Dembaji Sonroa.
Dungyo Demba.
Niba the Kolbaba, Bon Swag to the Timber. That's no better than Dodo Gonde Marbe.
Less so. Then a Tambo Dembaji.
Yeah.
Then a Dembaji, the Dungyo Demba, Gunjun Demba.
That the Master the call and Jubi Jundeni,
There,
call Dubi Jundeni, Ishiroa.
less so.
Call and Jubi Jute and Kunju Demba,
Less so.
Devo Dunga Demba.
Less so.
Call to Julanji Demba, Devo Goden,
Less so.
or the Demba Demba.
The Dungyo Papi Demba ho, the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Dunga Papi Demba, and then Kunju Papi Demba was call and Jubi Jundeni,
Less so.
call and Jubi Jo, Kunju Demba,
Less
Devo
so.
Dunga Demba.
Less so. So the Buddha turned the wheel. So now we're going to just talk a little bit about the Four Noble Truths, because today it's a celebration of the day of the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma 3 specific times. He first turned the wheel of Dharma in Varanasi, where he taught the Four Noble Truths: the truth of suffering, the truth of origin, the truth of cessation, and the truth of path. Then the Buddha gave the second turning of the wheel at Rajagriha and Vulture Peak Mountain, where the Heart Sutra was taught, the 100,000 verse, 20,000 and 8,000 verse, and Heart's Perfection of Wisdom Sutras were taught. The Heart Sutra, Perfection of Wisdom teachings were taught. And then the third turning of the wheel is called the Wheel of Good Differentiation. And various other collected topics were explained. So the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, which is called the turning of the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha, during that teaching, the Buddha showed two cause and effect relationships between the words that were presented in the Four Noble Truths. So the Buddha stated that this is the Arya, or the superior truth of suffering. This is the superior truth of origin. This is the superior truth of cessation. And this is the superior truth of path. So the first cause and effect relationship we find between the truth of suffering and the truth of origin, because it's in dependence upon the truth of origin that suffering occurs. So it's the second noble truth that shows you what causes suffering. And the first noble truth, when we speak of suffering, we're speaking of the suffering of cyclic existence. So the suffering of korwa, the suffering of cyclic existence. So in dependence upon origin, one has the truth of suffering. So this is the first cause and effect relationship that you find. The second cause and effect relationship are between the third and fourth noble truth, where the Buddha stated that this is the superior truth of cessation and this is the superior truth of path. Here the cause and effect relationship is between path and cessation. So in dependence upon the path, one is able to achieve cessation. Cessation of what? Cessation of suffering. The suffering of cyclic existence can end through depending upon a path. So we see the second cause and effect relationship between truth of path and truth of cessation. Path causing cessation. First cause and effect relationship between suffering and origin of suffering. Origin causing suffering. So the first cause and effect relationship shows you how you are bound to cyclic existence, how you are tied to it. You are tied to it because you have the causes which are origin, and as a result, you have suffering. So you are bound to this suffering because of the origin being present. The second cause and effect relationship shows you how you can be unbound, freed from cyclic existence. Through depending upon path, one is freed from and ceases suffering. So these are the two cause and effect relationships that we find. Dene the Gonjun Demba got show. Serna the Dungyal Demba Jew, the Garre, the Detsi Ravronang.
Gonjun Demba is Tata to the Lugile, Nagale, Ijile, Lugimagile, Nagamagile, and Ijimagile, some of the
Lesso.
Gonjun Demba.
Then the Jew Garre, the lay Jew Garre.
Let the Jua.
The Nyomo.
Let the Nyomon Hama is it.
Dene Nyomo and Jew Denzin.
Denzin.
Dene the Gonjun Dema and Yune the Denzin.
Denzin to Gonjun Dema is in Digro.
Less so. So when we look at this first and second noble truth, the truth of suffering, the Dungyal Demba Shosena Rinpoche. Dungyal Demba. Ngatsu Ku Pombo. Okay. So if we were to say, posit the truth of suffering, show me what the truth of suffering is, Rinpoche said you could say the subject, the aggregates of cyclic existence. So the aggregates, because Buddha has aggregates and they're not within cyclic existence, so it's qualified. It's the aggregates of cyclic existence, these parts we have of cyclic existence. So we are cyclic existence. We are this samsara. We ourselves are. So when you say posit the truth of suffering, you would say this samsaric these samsaric aggregates, these suffering aggregates. And if you would say, what is the origin of these suffering aggregates, you would say non-virtue created by our body, speech, and mind. So non-virtuous activities that we create through our speech, bad things that we say, through our body, bad physical things that we do, and bad things that we think are what cause the suffering of the suffering aggregates. So suffering aggregates, our suffering parts, are caused by non-virtue of our body, speech, and mind. That non-virtue of our body, speech, and mind are caused by our afflictions that we've had since beginningless time. So we have these afflictions that have been caused by previous afflictions, so we have these afflictions which then cause us to act, create karma. So we have these negative qualities such as attachment, hatred, all of these things that then cause us to think badly, act badly, and speak badly. But those things have a cause. So it's not just the afflictions that come out of nowhere. The afflictions are caused by grasping at true establishment. So it's incorrectly perceiving reality and grasping at things incorrectly, which cause us to then have afflictions, to be attached, to be angry, etc., that then cause us to act badly. So non-virtuous karma or non-virtuous action is what causes suffering. But when we trace it back to what the root cause of all of these things, all of our problems is, or the root cause of all of our problems, what is the root problem of what is the root cause of all of our problems, we will find that it's the grasping at things as being truly established. So it's this grasping at things incorrectly that sets off this reaction of affliction that causes karma, which causes cyclic existence. And this is a cycle that occurs over and over again. Dene, the Goden, show serna. Goden and Landen show.
Goden and Landen serna. Tangazu Tolan Jolan, Tolan Gulan. Landen serna, Tolan Gulan, Molulan Song de Landen.
Less so. So if we were to say, then what is path? Posit that which is path. So we've explained that what is suffering, the cyclical aggregates. As a translate, the aggregates of cyclic existence, because I can't say that word, lickle, that one. So the aggregates of cyclic existence. And when we look at what is suffering, you can divide suffering into so many different categories. As a translator's note, if you look at the great treatise in the beginning, you have so many different divisions, the 6 types of suffering, the 3 types of suffering. Generally, you hear the 3 types of suffering, the suffering, the suffering of change, and pervasive compounded suffering. But these are all because of we have aggregates of cyclic existence. So these sufferings occur because of these aggregates, and these aggregates occur because we have this grasping. So the pathway begins when we look at the 5 Mahayana paths, the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, path of seeing, path of meditation, the path of no more learning. When we look at true paths, that doesn't begin until one is at the path of seeing. So these are called Arya paths because they're superior paths that are only paths that begin once one sees emptiness directly. When we say true paths, that is paths of Aryas that lead to Arya Buddhas. Arya Bodhisattvas or just Aryas lead to Buddhas, lead to foe destroyers. So that's what we would say. And then the Goden Sho, Teichen Dan Teme. Goden Mambo Yure. Less so. So as we traverse, so when we look at what cessation refers to, cessation has many levels. So when we say, Buddha said suffering can cease, all through the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, the path of no more learning, there are various afflictions and negativities that are abandoned as you progress through, and that are completely abandoned, that are ended as you progress through these stages. So there are cessations that occur throughout the pathway up to the final cessation, which is the cessation of cyclic existence. But there is a cessation of the coarse afflictions, cessation of the great afflictions, the great of medium afflictions. So these cessations occur throughout the process of path, but the final cessation is the cessation of all obstructions to omniscience. So cessation refers to many different levels. And then liberation, cessation, if we look at an enlightenment, there's an enlightenment of a Henianist, and then there's the enlightenment of a Mahayanist. An enlightenment of a Henianist, whether they are here or a solitary realizer, would just be their own individual nirvana. They'd be there in peace, at peace in nirvana. The Mahayana enlightenment is referring to Buddhahood. So, and that is the final cessation for a Mahayanist, is the cessation of the obstructions to omniscience. Disu. Yabudu. Okay, so we'll end there today. A lot of people came for 5 a.m., so we're going to end there. We weren't going to do them, we're going to end there. But if there's any question that's really important, definitely ask it. I wouldn't want to leave without it. But what's up? Go for it.
I wanted to know a little bit more about Milarepa.
Okay. That's Kaju lineage, but Rinpoche would know. Rinpoche, Milarepa, Loju, Detsi, Kong. I mean, there's a book called Life Story of Milarepa, which, yeah.
I just want to know.
I guarantee if you read that whole thing, you have more details of Milarepa's life than maybe Rinpoche does. So in one lifetime, in Milarepa's lifetime, he was able to become a Buddha. So his teacher was named Marpa. Chorten. Then Rinpoche kong Kambazu Chortenzu Kamba. So then Milarepa's teacher Marpa was very skillful and realized that Milarepa had many bad deeds that he had done and had to purify a lot of negativities. So he skillfully had him build these buildings. I think they were temples or something. Over and over again, and the reason that we say over and over again is Milarepa would build it just as he was instructed to, and Marpa would come to inspect it and say it was done wrong and tell him to tear the whole thing down and redo it again an inch over or a foot taller or sunken in. So he did this over and over again, and he was using skillful means to help purify this horrible negativity that Milarepa had created. Milarepa knew black magic and had killed a village of people. So Marpa was trying to get him to purify these sins, these negativities which were blocking his ability to become enlightened. Then the J Rinpoche Lama Tsongkhapa. Then got it. June. Deson. Lo jadan nishu. Lo yomare. Oh, okay. So it's at the time of Lama Tsongkhapa, he said there were 120 students that would become enlightened. There was some prophecy. I'm sorry, I'm not good with these things, but there was a prophecy. When we're speaking of beings that will achieve enlightenment in one lifetime, Milarepa was cited, and Lama Tsongkhapa said 120 more students will be like Milarepa or something like this.
Remember his aunt, I think. Like, do you remember that part?
Not so much. I read the book once, like maybe 20 years ago.
His uncle and aunt were like the ones that really like, I don't want to say something, like, put them in an unfortunate situation. But then the aunt repented, I think.
Yeah, I remember something like that.
But yeah, I said one other person that was really bothering me. It's 2 seconds.
Okay.
So, I feel like my mind's been just like overwhelmed with like, just reading Buddhist books all the time, thinking, and I started reading like science fiction novels and stuff like that. And I just want to ask Rinpoche if that was like okay, or like it was like, 'cause I know the Dalai Lama was like it could be like considered senseless chatter.
Yeah.
But it helps me kind of just.
Rinpoche, konde segadu tsansang, konde nampi becha kona, lobjung shegadu, lobjung shena, kongi sam the trugudu, then kali kapo shagudu, den sunsang, tsansang kon simitsik becha lobjungadu, the nampi chu yomare, becha jenda, the semitsik dandar, becha logudu, then kon sem shiwa yongdu, then kon yanjer nampichu becha da. Did digare Rinpoche? Gangen sena jao Rinpoche segdu sansam becha jenda lona the tama the zun tama situ zun the gecha yapu yoma the zun tama situ ngache. Jao Rinpoche segdu the becha jenda lona ngache dandar. Dene sanlogar yube lapcha yurebe gangen sena the kon the nampichu becha kona lobjung shena kon sem sheda trugudu dene kon the kali kapo chagdu dene becha jenda lo the semitsik becha lona kon sem shiwa shag dene yanger lo dene yene kon sampa chikshena ngache the becha jenda lobjung she lona yene chikshena
산소 나비 버샤 로지 yen다 로지 니가 론데로
Gangesana ngatsu the sanje yo mare, ngatsu lama yo mare, then sansan kali kapudu, then sansan nga the lonyen dan the logudu movie dagudu, the drapudu, Gangesana the ngatsu lekala dro, then e becha lo, shera kali kapudu, then sen chipo chagamare, then e nampi becha lojung she kali kapudu, then e sansan lunyen la dagudu, movie dagudu, Becha jenda da du, dene sen le labu chana, dene yanjer lobjung she. So Rinpoche is saying that yes, it is considered useless information. Bear with me here. If you're doing anything really that is studying a topic that isn't moving you towards a spiritual goal, the information itself isn't helping you. But we aren't Buddhas, we aren't Lamas, we aren't highly realized yet. And our minds aren't capable necessarily yet of being inundated with only spiritual information. So because we aren't necessarily at a place of realization yet, having a break, even though it isn't studying something that's going to necessarily, the information isn't necessarily going to help you get further along the path, but the process of stepping back and calming your mind down to the point where it can then address the Buddhism again more calmly is a method, is a skillful means. So the information itself is gossip. It's not information that you want to memorize and make sure that you're, but if you're using it as a diverting your mind, like just as kind of like I told him, like watching a movie or watching TV or something like that, when you just get overwhelmed and you start to feel bad and you can't possibly put more learning in, but later you can, but right now it's just too much. And I said all this to him, and he said, it's good, do a little of both. You can a little piece, and then study. Do it back and forth till you get to the point where you will only be able to study and only want to study. But you are the only one who knows where you're at. And for anybody to say you should study day and night, you're not ready to study day and night, then you're not ready, and that's actually going to hurt you. Everybody knows themselves the best. So if it starts to feel like it's not, like a little too much, you can't miss, if you change is hard. So like becoming a better person is hard. So it's going to be a little hard, but when it's just too much, you know if you're in over your head and need to step back.
Because like all this stuff, it almost feels like you have to do everything at once, and it's just
you don't.
That's when I get to the point where it's like, okay, I need to just.
Middletown could fly and stuff. You know what I mean? He just used black magic bad, but he was already way up.
Superior.
He knew black magic. He destroyed a whole village by a woof.
I know.
He's
yoga ability, and he could run super fast.
So he just had to take that and put it with Buddhism, and it was super fat. It's how Tantra works. How Tantra works. When we read the Guru Puja, and they're talking about that energy that's created between when certain things take place, that energy is then turned towards the path, and it's a very swift path then. Likewise, Milarepa took those qualities and put them towards good and was very swift because of it. But I'm not Milarepa's. I'm not in that 120. Okay, anyone else? We're doing it now. I don't want to, sure.
The third noble truth.
Yes, cessation. Yeah.
Does that mean the six senses?
No.
It isn't, because I didn't know what, we use the word sensation.
Cessation.
Oh, cessation.
End. Cessation. It ceases to exist. Cessation. Yeah. Yes. Tiring the shacha tupa the zonga long nang ronang.
No.
Shachi tupa zonga nang ngatsu lo naro nang. He said that's good. Please repeat after me. Teata om muni muni. Maha muni e soha. Teata om muni muni. Maha muni e soha. Teata om muni muni. Maha muni e soha. Gewadi nyoduda. Lama Sanje Drujune. Droa Shejang Malupa. De Salango Basho. Tu Chenrezig Rinpoche. Nitzar. Okay, so we'll end there. Thank you, Sasha, for requesting that. So anyone who's new, that's the transmission of Buddha Shakyamuni's name mantra, which then, if you have the transmission of the name mantra, it makes it more powerful to recite. It's not the same as an initiation, just to make that clear, or a blessing, a jenang, but it's a transmission of it that has been from Buddha to his student. There's an unbroken transmission of that from Buddha. So Rinpoche's teacher gave it to him, whose teacher gave it to him or her, etc., to the Buddha. So the words that we were just transmitted are traced back all the way to the Buddha himself. Okay, so concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. Rinpoche, shacha tupa zunga zusun. Shacha tupa zunga, om muni muni maha muni e soha. Shacha tupa zusun.
Shacha tupa nemi.
Ha gutsusun. Yine shacha tupa dinge de sen zonga yin lasun. De shacha tupa dinge zonga lapsun kelensun. Okay, so I was just asking if the Buddha said, this is my mantra. Like, it's his name mantra, so it's his name. Anyway. Om muni muni maha muni e soha. So. But there's a whole meaning within it, so I was just curious. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche Gutsi Shapidan Lang Atsu Lamrim Chema Lang Angren Chema Ganga Triel Nang.